Today we've got a lot to talk about. Norwegian is in the news with two really big headlines. I'm going to talk to you about some updates that some Let's Go family members are seeing on the Crown Princess that I think really highlight some changes that have taken place since the cruising restart compared to, what things were a little bit before COVID. I'm wondering what you all have seen about this. We are also going to talk about, let's see, how many bottles of wine you can bring on a cruise, and it sounds like, at least on one princess ship, it is way more than what we usually would think. And then finally, I want to say that you are all exceeding my expectations, and I want to tell you a quick story at the end about why, and thank you again. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today is Wednesday. It's March 22nd of 2023. I am actually back home today for just a heartbeat. I flew in this morning from Boston, and tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock in the morning our flight leaves to go to Atlanta and then on to Munich, because on Saturday morning we are going to get on our river cruise. So we are really excited. We're going to bring you all along. It looks like it's going to be very rainy for a lot of the time going, so we're trying to tweak what cameras we're going to take and just how we're going to try to record things to share with you. So, but be looking for some live sail-aways. Our sail-away right now is scheduled out of Passau, Germany at 10 p.m. But I am really interested to see what the lights are like then, or if we can go live a little bit early just to show you everything. I am so excited to see this, whether it's raining or not. And I would add, it is the end of March. It is springtime there, just like we're hoping spring will come here. Where we live, it's snowing again right now. But anyway, we are really excited, so I'll let you know. I had in mind, I actually did a packing video before I just went on my trip to Boston, and then Gordon was working on editing it, and then I was like, nope, I have changed my mind. And so I will redo that. Maybe I'll do it on the while we're on the river cruise and let you know what we use, or right when we get home, and then that way I can tell you what I actually wore and what I didn't wear. But I am taking my new Vera Bradley backpack, and I am taking my rolling carry-on bag. That's what I'm taking on this trip, and so it is just definitely going to be minimalist packing. I did take my Vera Bradley backpack when I just went to Boston for a week. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. So I'll have to talk to you about that. But anyway, let's get on the news. With the news, I just wanted to let you know where we stand and what we're working on today. So first of all, really quickly, and I think these things really matter because I think that we see a little bit of a, it's just interesting. So Frank Del Rio, who has been the head of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings since 2015, is stepping down, and that's going to be effective June 30th of 2023. And Harry Summer, who has been the president of just Norwegian Cruise Lines, not the whole big Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, just of Norwegian, he is going to take over Frank Del Rio's position there, and then they will be shuffling some more people around. But I think it's a really just, when these people that have done so much for the cruising industry decide to retire, I think that it's, and move on, it's just a really important thing to me to recognize them for what they did. He is the one who started Oceania Cruises. He saw that niche and filled it and developed a whole new cruise line to go with it. And so I think that is so important to note. He is going to stay on an advisory position with the board of directors as a senior advisor through 2025. Now, if you're not familiar how all these corporate things work, the board of directors does, they have input, and it varies on different companies how much they use it and how much of an impact different board of directors want to have on the everyday running of a company, but they can impact it a lot. And so I think that it's a good thing he's going to stay for a while. I think he has had a very steady hand, just from my viewpoint, in leading Norwegian Cruises. To me, it's going to be really interesting to see what changes, because we know that Norwegian has so many new cruise ships coming along. They just got the Prima and The next one is coming just this next year, and so they have them backed up. There are going to be more and more of these really big ships coming with Norwegian. We've been talking a lot about, they do have the highest out of, when you think of your more mass market and contemporary cruise lines, they do have the highest gratuities at $20 a day, and starting at $20 a day. If they've got that, and just all the things that they charge for when you're on a Norwegian cruise. Although, I don't know, I am thinking in the long run, we are really probably going to see a lot more of that. Prices are not slowing down. I don't know if you caught the news today, but the Fed raised the interest rate another 0.25%. And so things are still going to be very expensive and hard moving forward. And by hard, I just mean everything is still going to keep going up, and cruise lines are going to have to navigate trying to keep all their passengers happy and being able to cover all of their expenses. The next thing, and this is really big, and I hope you will all stop and think about this with me, because I have thought about this whole e-mester and the in-person mester an awful lot, probably more than I even needed to. But when we came back from cruising, those of you who haven't sailed ever yet and you're brand new to cruising, or if you haven't sailed yet since COVID happened, it used to be that you would always go, when you got on the ship, you had a place that you were assigned to go, and having only sailed Princess before COVID happened, you always took the life vest out of your cabin with you. You practiced putting it on. They went through a lot of instructions with you on what to happen if there was an emergency on board the ship. Then when COVID happened, they turned it into an e-mester, meaning that you had to watch it on your stateroom TV. And Princess has it that it knows if you have watched it or not. It keeps track of that. And then you go and you go to your muster station, the place that you would meet in the event of an emergency, and swipe your medallion, and they've recorded that you have said that you have watched it. So as I have thought about this an awful lot, I have been concerned, because that's just me, but I wonder how many people just kind of blow it off. They turn it on and then they do something else. They just let the muster video run and then they go get checked off. And I just want to say how important it is to really know what to do if there's an emergency on board the ship. I know this day and age, so often we think, well, cruise ships don't sink anymore. I don't have to worry. Everything will be okay. They'll tell me what to do. When really, in the event of a true emergency, we need to have an idea of what to do. Even if we're nervous about it and they give us direction at the time, we need to have like something in our mind about how this is supposed to work. Another really important component is if you have children on board the ship, they are very specific about like where you're going to meet your children and how all of that works if the emergency happens and your children are in the children's club or doing activities different than just being right there with you. And so I just want to encourage everybody to pay attention to those muster drills. Norwegian, starting on June 1st, they are going back, sorry, not June 1st, April 1st, they are going back to the e-muster. And I don't know, I would suspect it's because they have received so much pushback from people about having to do that in-person muster again. So starting on April 1st, they're back on that video and learning how to do it. I think it's really interesting watching this. In the last little while, we've had the opportunity, Gordon and I, to watch Princesses, which we're very familiar with, but also Royal Caribbeans and Norwegians and Celebrities. And I would say that they all do a really good job of telling you what to do. A funny note, this morning on Delta, flying home, I just had the nonstop at 6 o'clock in the morning from Boston to Salt Lake. They didn't show the safety video. And I'm going to put that in my little, they always send me an email asking for what happened on the flights, so I'm going to tell them that because I think it's really important just to have in your mind if something happens. And so let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the e-muster as compared to the in-person muster. Do you think it's a good idea? Let me know what you think, okay? Because we could have a really good discussion about this. Now, the next thing that I think is really going to be valuable for us to consider is we've got a Let's Go family member who just got off the Crown Princess, and they noticed some changes during the course of that cruise that were different than when they had sailed on the Crown Princess before. He did not mention if they were the last time they cruised crown was since the restart or if it was before COVID. But they did notice that, and this is awesome, instead of serving the hub lunch there in the wheelhouse bar, they moved it to the main dining room so that they could accommodate more people. I think that's excellent. We are used to often the pub lunch being in the Crown Grill, or in this situation in the wheelhouse bar, but I think it's great because sometimes you have to wait longer depending on demand for it. Of course, you have to wait until there is seating available in these smaller venues, so moving it to the main dining room I think is great. They could accommodate so many people. If you are not familiar with what the pub lunch is, so usually it has been held on the most, I'm trying to remember if I've been on a ship that it's been in the wheelhouse bar, but usually it's in the Crown Grill that on the ships that I have been on. And historically they would offer, it would be a fun day for fish and chips, and I can never remember what the other thing was. They offer like 2 different entrees at lunchtime, and it's included, you don't have to pay for it, and their fish and chips was always so good. That's why I can't remember what the other main entree was. It's because I always got the fish and chips. But ever since, you know, on some of the cruises more recently, either there hasn't been a pub lunch or they have tweaked it a little bit that it's not fish and chips. They'll have a basket, I think, with shrimp and something, and I don't remember what the other one is. Anyway, those of you that have sailed recently, let us know what they're serving for the pub lunch, but it was just always something fun. So that is a difference. The second thing is they noticed that there was not the Crab Shack specialty restaurant. So I have not seen that on any ship since COVID, not since at no time during the restart. So let me know if you have seen that Crab Shack specialty restaurant as well. If you're not familiar with that, usually they would have an evening that they, or a lunch, whatever. I've seen it both actually, I seem to recall, that you could go have like crab. You would pay extra for it, and then it would usually be like in the back of the dining room. I've seen it on ships usually that it is part of the back of the dining room, and you would just pay that extra amount and then go eat the crab. I have not seen that offered on any of the Princess cruises that we have been on since the restart. So let us know if you are seeing that, because that was something that was always kind of fun. The next thing is they noticed that there is no longer a bar of soap in the cabins, and I think that is maybe fleet-wide now. When I got to go on the Discovery Princess at the end of October just this last year, that's the first time that I saw the pump thing of soap and the pump thing of lotion. Before then there had been a bar of soap and then that little tube of the Lotus Spa lotion, but I am wondering if that's just a standard across the fleet as well. So let us know about that. I will say I always take a bar of soap with me, so if you like a bar of soap in the shower, just take it with you. I always do that. I'm fussy about my soap, so I always do that. And then when I'm washing my hands, I just use their liquid soap, and it was okay. The thing I like is it is not, to me, it's not strongly scented. I don't like things that smell a lot. I think Norwegian smells a lot more strongly than Princess's does, but they're both okay. It's all right. And then finally, they noticed, you know, those automatic motion sensor lights that Princess seems to have in all of their cabins now. There is usually one, I have not seen the ones yet that are along like the edge of the bed or the nightstand or any of the furniture, but we have been on cruises that they are just like when you're walking into the closet area, like the powder room is on one side and the closet's on the other side. It's just down kind of in the corner of the closet there, and some people don't like those. I am honestly thinking that probably someone was hurt trying to navigate the cabin in the dark, and so Princess is doing this to try to make it so that no one else gets hurt going around in the dark at night. But some people don't like it when lights come on, and so I have heard, if you don't like that, I've heard of people covering them up with band-aids. I've heard of people putting like a pillow on top of it, whatever it takes. I think if it goes like, you know, along the nightstand or along you know, the wall or anything else different, like I said, I have not been on a ship that's had that yet. I think it would be harder to cover it up, but it would seem to me as well, I don't know that it would be super bright. So let us know what those lights are looking like inside the cabins. But that is new, and I think that from what I have heard previous to now, it is they're doing that on all of the ships. Finally, how many bottles of wine can you bring with you on board a Princess cruise? I looked at the Princess website right before I did this video to make sure. They say 1 per person. not to exceed 750 milliliters, and it can be a bottle of wine or champagne. Someone, though, one of our Let's Go family members, was just on the Sapphire Princess in Santiago, Chile, and they said they did not check how much wine they had at all. So, like they said, we're supposed to have one, but they talked to some guests who actually brought on 10 bottles there in Buenos Aires, and nobody even looked, nobody even checked it. And then another thing that they pointed is, which I was just going to say, those of you that do buy that, will they let you bring it on and maybe set it aside as a piece, not, I don't know that you would call it luggage, but that you're not going to drink it on board? I'm wondering if that's a thing. I know that when when my daughter and I went on one of our tours of Italy, it wasn't a cruise, it was just a tour, that there were several people that bought a lot of wine, and they would put it under the bus there in the boxes that it came in, the cases, and then when they got to the airport, there's a special way to ship that home, but they couldn't have opened it or anything. So maybe that discussion here would help some of you that are connoisseurs or would like to try wine from different places. Let us know what you do and how that works. But that thought did go through my mind with this situation with the Sapphire Princess. Share your experience, because I don't know about that. Finally, they were saying that when they got on board, now they had signed up for the Princess Plus package when the limit was $15. But they are charging them for items that are over $12. It says the new documentation on the menu says $12. The last few trips, it's always been $15. And then they said, I'm sure they'll fix it once. They took, all these screenshots of all these drinks that they're being charged that extra money for. And so let us know. And the Crown Princess, so this is on the Sapphire Princess, they were sharing this. Someone else, I looked back when we had been talking about it on our live last week, I think it was last week, about the fact that a lot of the ships are just, if you paid for it when the limit, when you paid $50 a day for that, and the limit was $12 a day, they are just covering it up to $15, which is the new limit for everyone. But it sounds like some of the ships are, and now we've got the Sapphire Princess saying it does cover up to $15, but then the menu says up to $12, and they're being charged the difference. So if you would all share your experience with that, I think it would help our Let's Go family members know what to expect. Now, the very last thing that I want to share with you today is really important to me, and it really highlights why Gordon and I started this, why we started this whole YouTube channel, the whole Let's Go thing, and we have our Facebook group. If you are not a member of our Facebook group and you do Facebook, come and join us. It's Let's Go Travel Tips. You just click to join and Gordon will admit you to our group. But this nice Let's Go family member says, I'll be boarding the Caribbean Princess today, headed for the Panama Canal. My first solo cruise. My husband passed 2 years ago. I've met a good group of people through our Facebook group. I love the enthusiasm of this group. I cannot tell you how happy this makes me, that people that need to meet people to cruise with have that opportunity to do that in our group. Gordon and I wanted this to be a place that we could all share information, tips, how things work about cruising, just everything, all the happy things about cruising, all the things we need to watch out for, all the tips, tricks, just everything. And I want you to know that I really appreciate everything that each one of you brings to this Let's Go family, because you all bring something that the rest of us need. So thank you, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We do need you with us, and we're trying to grow our Let's Go family. So if you appreciate it, so please subscribe, and if you appreciate these updates, please give this video a thumbs up. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.